If you are really concerned about carbon emissions, why are we not liberating the nuclear energy market? Obviously, as we all know, in the energy debate, it's all about, well, we can't emit fossil fuels, or we can't use fossil fuels because that emits carbon dioxide, and then the planet will die. And our approach to that is twofold. First, okay, if you are really concerned about carbon emissions, why are we not liberating the nuclear energy market?
I mean, every interview I've done, we've talked that the petroleum and gas industry is the bridge to fission.
Natural gas in particular. So
Absolutely.
our whole approach to energy policy has been one on the look. First of all, you've got to. You're not going to wind and solar are not going to. I apologize for being repetitive, but just to reiterate what you're hearing from all your experts and what you already know. You're not going to replace U.S. energy demand, let alone global energy demand, as it grows around the world in China.
At best,
India.
you can augment.
Yeah, with wind and solar. It can be helpful in certain places, like in West Texas. I live in Texas. West Texas is a great place for wind and solar, but it's not useful everywhere. Nuclear energy, on the other hand, super dense. You can generate a lot of electricity, almost all of it from nuclear if you want to. And natural gas, as you know, is the cleanest form of energy from a carbon emission standpoint.
It's now a green energy in the UK.
It should be.
It should be.
Now, so that's the stuff that everyone you talk to knows in this space. The thing that we're working on specifically is the policy problem. Is that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission has literally not approved a novel nuclear power plant in its entire existence.
Wow.
Basically, it's grandfathered one thing that that was in process when the Nuclear Regulatory Commission was built in 1974. But basically, for 50 years, we've effectively made new nuclear energy illegal in the United States.
Correct.
And part of the problem is that the anti-nuclear forces and activists inserted their people into the NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and they have civil service protection. You can't fire them.
Correct.
So you can't fix the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So we've proposed a policy, a congressional law, in which we create a new nuclear regulatory agency to regulate novel technologies like small modular reactors and any other new fusion, whatever you want to do on in terms of like the conventional giant nuclear plants that already exist. If you try to take them out of the NRC, the energy companies, the nuclear energy companies, will lobby against you because they love the fact they have this sunk cost relationship. They're cozy with the NRC.
There's no new innovations.
Yeah, they like the fact that there's barriers to entry. So grandfather them in. Say, you know what? If you're comfortable with working with the NRC, that's fine. But we're going to create a new nuclear regulatory agency that's separate from the NRC for new plants, new technologies, small modular reactors. And the budget of that agency is going to be tied to the amount of generation capacity that it regulates.
Interesting.
So you create a bureaucratic incentive for this new agency, NRC2 or whatever you want to call it, so that actually, and this is modeled after the FDA. So one of the big things that was a problem with FDA reform, this goes to our healthcare work, is that the FDA was being very slow in approving new drugs. And so eventually, after a lot of fights between the biotech and pharma industries and the FDA, they came up with a system called PDUFA, the Prescription Drug User Fee Act, or PDUFA. And the way PDUFA works is, in exchange for user fees from the pharmaceutical industry, the FDA is legally required to turn around an application for a new drug in a specific amount of time.
Interesting.
So imagine if you use that same kind of model of, hey, your budget as a bureaucratic agency is tied to your effectiveness at approving more nuclear generation capacity. So then the incentives of the bureaucrats are completely inverted. In the NRC, their incentive is to block everything because they hate nuclear energy.
Correct.
But
now they're incentivized
for this
to welcome.
V2 agency, it's the opposite. They'll get a bigger budget if there's more energy capacity they're regulating.
So why hasn't this been done?
Well, it's a new idea. We just proposed this last year, but we've been talking to members of Congress about it, and there's a lot of receptivity to it, so stay tuned.
Good.
Thank you so much for watching this interview. There are plenty more behind you. All you have to do is click the link below. If you're interested in investing in oil and gas, please please feel free to go to kingoperating.com or reach out to us directly. Enjoy the show.